Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nance and Packer are not here, and the game starts in 5 minutes.
Say it. Billy, we made it just in time. One last time.
Enough.
Time for the starting lineup.
Enough.
Let's get down to business now, all right? Louisville and Kentucky. They resumed this rivalry back in 1983 after it was dormant for 62 years. Rick Pitino in his 6th year. He has beaten Coach Denny Crum and the Cardinals the last 4 years. And let's meet the starting lineups for Kentucky. Rhodes, Riddick, and McCarty in the front court. In the back court, Tony Delk, who was the star in last year's Kentucky win over Louisville, and Shepard. There's the Hall of Famer inducted last May into the Hall of Fame. Denny Crum has never lost 5 straight to the same opponent. Osborne, Walker, and Johnson up front. And the backcourt has Tick Rogers, who leads the nation in steals, and DeJuan Wheat. Clougherty, Rutledge, and Burr, the officials. Happy New Year to all of you joining us. We're glad to have you here. And Billy, a final thought on Kentucky and Louisville before we tip it.
Well, I was really impressed, of course, with Kentucky in this morning's practice, Jim. This is a team that is extremely deep. You don't see many clubs like that in the country anymore, where you've got a great front line, and then you also have 5 guys who come off the bench of equal ability. In the case of Louisville, they are really going to have to be concerned today about the great depth and quality of depth that Kentucky has.
Andre Riddick to jump against Samaki Walker. Underway at Freedom Hall, and Louisville will have it first with sophomore point guard DeJuan Wheat. Louisville has won its last 5 games after an early season 3-game losing streak.
Nice patience here, Jim. At the outset by Louisville. They're looking over a tight man-to-man defense.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Walker lost it, going up, gets it back. Walker, a freshman from Columbus, Ohio.
Well, we'll see another Walker freshman, that one being from Kentucky, Antoine, but Samaki Walker may be as good a freshman as there is in the United States.
Rhodes. Hit by Riddick. One more time up with it. McCarty.
Great block from behind. Foul call, but a terrific block.
Foul against Samaki Walker. Couple of opportunities here for Kentucky inside.
Well, excellent defense. Good leaping. There's a little push on the inside by McCarty. Gets by with it. Then excellent hands on the inside, and I thought that was a clean block, Jim.
One more for Walter McCarty, Jr. Averaging 11 a game.
Remember last year, McCarty was picked as the newcomer of the year, or preseason newcomer of the year in the SEC. It took him a while to adjust to the year he sat out. Coming on very strong now. Complete ball flow. Again, good patience. Got to have a point guard of Wheat's ability in order to do this. You always know you can go to the 1-4 low set, and he can create something at the end of the time. As an example, right there.
In the corner, jump shot too strong by Johnson. Walker follows. He has the first 2 buckets of the game.
Beautiful pump fake by Walker, MVP of the Kuppenheimer Classic with his big game against Georgia Tech. A freshman only in terms of eligibility. He's ready to go big time, Jim.
He's averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds in the last 7 Louisville contests.
Nice jump out by Jason Osborne.
Riddick on the blocks. And Walker got a piece of it from behind, saved by Delk. Tick Rogers guarding him tightly, and they say too tight.
Rogers leads the nation in steals. Had 10 in one game. It's almost hard to believe, Jim.
Against Western Carolina. That set a Louisville record when Rogers had the 10 steals, breaking the previous mark of 7 by Lancaster Gordon and LeBranford Smith.
And the 2 guys with really quick hands, part of that storied Louisville pass.
And a step too many by Shepard. 4-1 Cardinals. Rogers working on Rhodes. Leans in.
Bad shot.
Riddick with the rebound.
Deep in the corner. Tough shot for offensive rebounds. Not what Louisville needs.
Drive by Rhodes. Comes up empty.
Johnson, a great leaper.
Yes. Up and over Shepard, and two Kentucky players collide.
Kind of interesting there. Johnson, the leading leaper as far as vertical leap on the Louisville team. Shepard, that on the Kentucky team. They both respected each other. Great hit ahead by Wheat. Excellent stop, elevation on the jump shot. Smart play by Johnson. Only at 6'3", playing a forward spot for Louisville. And here's a pressing team being pressed.
Kentucky's missed its first 4 shots from the field. McCarty gets the first one to go, a three-pointer.
Excellent outside shooters. McCarty shooting over 42% from threes.
Rogers passes up the jumper, sets up the three for Osborne. He did not make a shot from the field last year in his college debut, and it was against Kentucky. The other quickly, McCarty +1.
A reverse dribble by McCarty in the open court against Osborne. There are two 6'9" players playing in the open court area, hitting the jumpers outside, and then showing what they can do when they put the ball on the floor. It's a beautiful stop. Nice release by McCarty.
Foul on Osborne, who hit the three at the other end. So McCarty, who has scored all of Kentucky's 6 points.
Well, Jim, we heard the great rendition of My Old Kentucky Home to Start thing, and you pointed out to me, and I'd forgotten about it. What, 2 years ago, McCarty, when he was ineligible, sang the Star Spangled Banner, right?
He sang the national anthem at the Hoosier Dome before the game against Indiana.
Well, that might have been. I bet he was more nervous about that than he was starting this game.
I know I would be. But he was outstanding.
Yep, Walker with good position inside.
Pump fake. We got Riddick to leave his feet, and Riddick commits the foul.
Now, Patino wanted Walker on the play. There might have been a little shuffle step by Walker, but I'm really surprised that the senior allowed the freshman to get that good a position inside. Not a good job by Riddick.
Walker will shoot 2. Only the 9th freshman ever to start his first game for Denny Crum. Last year they had 2, with Wheat and Osborne starting their college careers on the floor against Kentucky. You know, you look at that list of 9 guys who started as freshmen in their first game. One who was absent from that list was Darrell Griffin.
He turned out to be a pretty fair senior. Led him to a national crown 4 years later.
1980. 10-7 Cardinals.
How about this? 6'9" man brings the ball up floor with flair.
Rhodes. Rejected. Walker.
Beautiful.
Slapped it all the way out to Osborne. Lob to Wheat. And saved out to Osborne. Dishes inside. Johnson batted away. Riddick with the block. Now Johnson again, baseliner.
Osborne didn't hustle onto the inside. Got a break there by the call. It probably was a foul coming over the back.
McCarty was on the line, so Louisville will have possession. Osborne tried to lob it to the 6-foot DeJuan Wheat.
Right. 6'9" goes to the lob on reverse to a 6'1" guard.
Great action here early at Freedom Hall. Kick Rogers. Yeah.
Rogers playing with a lot of confidence. Last year was their key man coming off the bench. This year starting at 6'5". Blocked by Wheat.
Belt missing twice. And Kentucky ball.
That's the 3rd block by Walker. 2 that were credited as clean. 1 he was called on the foul that we thought was just a touch. First sub of the game. Epps coming in. Shepard sits down.
That's Anthony Epps, number 25, a 6'2 sophomore from Lebanon, Kentucky. McCarty.
Another block.
Rejected by Osborne.
Second time Osborne didn't dive for the ball, Jim.
Oh, no tie-up situation now at last. Ooh, that takes away a sure layup for Louisville.
Well, and you can look at the 2 officials looking at each other, and we're talking about big-time refs, Jim. That was one called off the other. I think it should have been a clean play for Louisville.
Timeout on the floor. 12-7 Cardinals.
Look, it's a gold card.
Jim, a lot happened on this particular play. First of all, Jason Osborne should have stuck his nose down in there and got that loose ball. When he didn't, it goes on the floor. Now watch this. 2 Louisville players are on the ball. That means that it should have been Kentucky's ball going their way. But instead, nobody makes the call until late. Louisville thinks they're off on a fast break. Now the referees have turned the ball over to Kentucky, which is what it should have been to start off with.
Yeah, the first signal was jump ball.
It was a help ball situation. Right, there's a steal.
And a whistle, a foul on Rhodes.
Roderick trying to do too much one-on-one within the framework of this offense. Now, we have seen his stats early in the year, taking a lot more shots and not being as productive. Since that, he's been more patient and been more productive, but today, trying to go a little bit too much one-on-one.
This young Louisville team has already blocked 5 Kentucky shots. They lead by 5. 12-7.
There's an offense that we saw Kentucky work against this morning. Screens across the lane.
Johnson.
Nice speed.
Drops it inside. Osborne kicks it back out. Jumper short. Walker, though, followed up and in by Johnson.
At this point, Louisville just quicker to the ball. Johnson, Samaki Walker, Tick Rogers. And Wheat has even had a block.
Delk dribbled it off his foot. Rogers will get credit for another steal. 3-on-2 Louisville. Rogers jumper.
Probably should have pulled that out, Jim.
Riddick snaps it out to Epps. He has Delk ahead. Delk will challenge Rogers.
Beautiful play. Delk this year has only taken 9 foul shots. So you have to force him to drive the ball in the middle. Beat the press rather easily.
Delk with a little yo-yo move to fool the defender. Now double team. They kick it back out. Osborne thought about the 3. He's made 1 already. Here it is. Second try. Too strong this time.
McCarty is run by. He's open.
Rhodes right up the middle. Oh, missed the slam.
What a smart play by Wheat. He looked like he was going to hold his ground down in the lane. Then he charged at Roderick Rhodes and then ran out of the way. It surprised Rhodes, and he just lost concentration for the walk.
A traveling call. And Delk will sit down. Shepard back in for Kentucky. Jared Prickett, number 32, also comes in for the Wildcats.
Half-court trap by Kentucky.
Louisville has a sub. Number 5, Alvin Sims, handling the ball now.
That little half-court trap. Well recognized by Louisville. Really 2 point guards in the game right now. Sims who can move back there. And Wheat, of course, gives good balance.
Epps called with the hand check. St. John's and UConn next Sunday right here on CBS. St. John's only 1 loss on the year. That's a Penn. Right. And UConn is undefeated. So Big East play coming up next Sunday right here on CBS.
UConn knocking off Duke and Illinois out of conference. 2 big out-of-conference wins there. And it's no slouch to lose to Penn.
DeJuan Wheat with a 3.
So far, Jim, Louisville giving Kentucky some of their own 3-point medicine.
Kentucky with Antoine Walker, number 24, handling the ball for the first time. 6th block of the game already for Louisville. Last touched by Kentucky, they say.
That was Sims at 6'4", getting a piece of 6'9" Walker's shot. Now watch this block. Incredible job by Sims.
Yeah, they may have shared that block with Samaki Walker. And B.J. Flynn misses on the driving layup. Really intense action here early. Walker, 3-pointer. Jared Prickett. Dish. Passing. Andre Riddick.
No block on that one. Oh, beautiful play by Louisville.
Wheat.
And if there's anything that annoys Rick Pitino, it's when somebody goes right over the top of his defense for an easy layup. He can't believe that one. Push off.
Yep, Epps with the left arm pushed off his second foul. Vinny Crum sends in Bozak Smith, number 33. And Rick Pitino makes a sub as well. He brings in Mark Pope, number 41, 6'10" transfer from Washington.
Pac-10 Rookie of the Year. Second year led the league. And you know what? Christian Laettner, I'm talking about leading a league at 6'10" as a free throw shooter. Christian Laettner's the last guy I remember leading a league at that kind of size in rebounding. in free throw shooting.
Well, we've seen a lot of subs here in the last few minutes, and there's Pope, the one you spoke of, and Bozak Smith, 33 for Louisville, now inside.
Tim, I think Smith is going to have a big game for Louisville because they're going to need important minutes from him. Otherwise, you're just so small.
Here he is, Billy, challenging inside and using the left hand.
Had a very good day in practice yesterday.
Stolen by Wheat on the inbound. Sets up Flynn for a three. Some start for Louisville, leading by 10. Three-pointer, cuts it to 7.
That's why you can't relax against Kentucky.
Tony Delk with the three.
They have the freedom to go for that shot no matter what score or time.
Osborne. Oh, tried to lob it, hit the rim.
He had to think of who was under there. That was Flynn, not a good pass.
Walker slices the defenders and gets the layup.
Bad pass. Osborne has to start thinking out there a little bit.
21-16. 5 unanswered. Kentucky cuts the lead in half.
Jim, in Louisville's offensive structure over the years, they've loved to use the clear out to set up a beautiful lob pass. Now with that clear out, it opens up one half of the court. Watch this play right here. Louisville hits to the side. Postman steps up, sets the back screen. There goes the lob into the guard. Now we just saw a lob play not off that same structure, but it went to Flynn by Osborne. You have to be careful as to who you're throwing the lob to, because the man has to be able to put it away.
Full court pressure. Louisville breaks it. Flynn threw it away.
Louisville really playing now with 4 guards and their number 2 center. So it's an extremely small team out here. Here's a chance for Kentucky to get that ball inside to Pope, Cricket, and Walker and make something happen. See if they jump down inside. There's Walker.
Shepard driving. Beautiful move.
Great quickness. He has tremendous athletic ability. He said he's got the best vertical leap on the team, trying to go long again. Tough to press a team with 4 guards.
Ball tip, but received by Flynn. Underneath, Smith. Oh, too strong.
Nice patience by Smith. Didn't get it to drop.
Jared Prickett, the leading rebounder for Kentucky, pulls it down. Kentucky, 7 unanswered points, looking for more.
Pope can hit from outside.
Pitino told us, watch him shoot the 3. Shepard.
Pope. See, just too much size on the floor right now for Kentucky. Denny Crum wisely says, I got to get Samaki Walker back into the game to get a little bit more balance.
And Walker returns with 4 blocked shots.
Tim, you notice he comes in, Smith goes out, so they're still small.
Violation on Kentucky.
Jim, how long did Kentucky work this morning on out-of-bounds situations, both on that end of the floor as well as on the sideline situation? Rick Pitino staring down his club. I think he stepped in bounds as he threw it.
Sub for Louisville, number 3, Brian Kaiser, Jr. From Irvine, Kentucky, comes in. He has hit a 3 in 8 out of the 9 games this year. He'll replace now the starting point guard, DeJuan Wheat.
So you really have on the floor just 2 starters, well actually 3 starters. Rogers on the game, and this is a tough time for Louisville, and here's where that Kentucky depth.
10 seconds.
Yep. The depth of Kentucky really mounting on them now, Jim. They just come off the bench with quality players, and Louisville can't do the same, particularly not with size.
Shepard for a foul challenger. Misses the 2-handed slam.
Well, that was some athleticism on the part of both of those guys. Walker was right up there with him.
Flynn with the ball. His father, star player at Kentucky 2 decades ago, Mike Flynn.
Right, got to play in the 75 Final Four.
Played for the Indiana Pacers.
Right. Talking about Indiana, they got to the Final Four by beating that great Indiana club. Louisville really out of sync now with their starters on the bench.
That's 3 straight turnovers now by Louisville.
And we're only halfway through the first half. Denny Crum already realizing he's got to rest his starters some at the pace of this game. But every time he does, he just hopes he doesn't give up, a 5 or 6 point run.
Sims goes out and starter Jason Osborne back in there. 10 minutes to go, first half. Louisville 6-3 on the year against the number 5 team in the nation. 6-1 Kentucky.
Samaki Walker really got a solid game for a freshman, doesn't he, Jim?
Really impressive.
He really is. Down there on Pope. Pope trying to push him out. Holding him off. Nice job.
Walker, great job defending. Flynn on the floor. Cricket ties him up.
Well, Jim, remember when I said about Osborne sticking his nose down on the floor, the lack thereof? That time Flynn showed what it's like to go right down there after the ball, and we know that Cricket will do that.
Flynn said, wait a minute, he tackled me. He pounced on me, but they say tie-up situation. Arrow belongs to Kentucky.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Good job by Pitino, because I didn't remember. Oh, what a bad foul.
With 2 seconds on the shot clock, goes up for the jumper. And they say he was shooting a 2 at the time, so.
With 4 seconds left to go on the shot clock, because of that steal situation, Kentucky didn't have an opportunity to get off a shot before that. That's the time just to play solid. Make him take a bad shot and never foul.
Shepard started his first college game, or the first start of his college career, against Marshall last week. So this is his second career start. He had 21 points in that game against Coach Billy Donovan, the Thundering Herd.
I think he's got a cut on his hand where there's some blood, Jim, and so therefore he'll have to go ahead out and they can select a shooter for him. Let's look down that bench quickly. Who do you think they pick out? Epps, huh?
Epps bounces out of his chair.
That's kind of interesting. Epps comes in to shoot the free throws. Remember what happened in the Indiana game. Neil Reed went in, scored, put Indiana ahead by 2, and then committed a technical foul, slapping the ball away on the inbound. Epps came in, hit the 2 technical free throws, and that sent Kentucky on the way to that victory. So here he comes off the bench to shoot for Shepard.
The 79% shooter.
Yep, delivers again.
Cut on Shepard's wrist, just above his right wrist. So they'll have to address that. And Epps comes in, nails them both.
Well, he delivers 4 for 4.
And Shepard has the wrist wrapped and is ready to return to the game. Meanwhile, another new player in there for Rick Pitino, Allen Edwards, a freshman from Miami. Comes from a basketball-playing family. Oh, and on the line, they say. So another Cardinal turnover, becoming now a little unrattled.
Jim, one of the things that Rogers did there to Walker that you just can't do, and that is when you're being pressed, you can't take your man to the man that has the ball because it gives an opportunity for no passing lane and a double team.
DeJuan Wheat back for the Cardinals. Shepard. And rebound by Walker.
Shepard really quick going to the basket.
Walker. That stopped a 9-point run by Kentucky.
You know what was interesting about that play? You remember Walker made the great rebound and the outlet pass. He was slow coming down the court. So the Kentucky big guys didn't have anybody to guard. And they were back under the basket. All of a sudden, here comes Walker right down the middle, gets the pass, and before the big people can adjust, he gets an easy shot.
Walker has struggled at the free throw line. 52%, 26 of 50.
And Jim, when you look across at his stats, that's the only place he's struggling. He's shooting 55% from the floor. He's 1 for 1 from three-point range. 8 rebounds a game. assist turnover ratio 16 to 16, which is excellent for a big man.
Nice rotation on that one to complete the three-point play.
Only played 9 games as a senior in high school last year. For personal reasons, left the team, but obviously doing it here.
Left in by Wheat, and it comes back out to him. Louisville has the numbers. Wheat pulls up. 2-pointer short, but Walker is there. Osborne tipped it once, and a foul call now against Roderick Rhodes.
Excellent inside position by Osborne.
Near the conclusion of this game, we'll select a genuine Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. They're in the bonus now. 1-1. That's the 7th team foul against Kentucky. And for Rhodes, that was his 2nd. So 1-1 for Osborne.
Again, in these last 4 games where Kentucky has dominated play against Louisville, Kentucky has been awesome from the three-point line, shooting 47%, and they've actually outscored Louisville by 99 points from the three-point line over those 4 games, which is incredible. So far today, that has not been the story. And Louisville's been able to stay right with them, and doing a good job on the boards when they have their starting lineup out there.
Yeah, they've been over 50%, Kentucky, from three-point land in 3 of the last 4 years.
Again, tight man-to-man.
Walker unloads it. Riddick. Rejected.
Beautiful timing by Samaki Walker.
Samaki Walker now with 5 blocks, which matches his career high. He's done it 3 other times. And you would think by day's end he'll have a new personal best. Shepard up quick with it.
Wheat went for the steal and didn't quite get there on time, and it cost him an easy 2. Charlie Jones sets the all-time blocking record at Louisville. He had 10 in 1 game.
It's Rogers. They call a foul. Was he in the act of shooting? Looked like he may have been dishing at the last second.
Well, if he didn't, he should have tried to pretend that was his shot. Let's see. He got 3 coming there.
It's against
Let's
Andre
take a look
Riddick.
at it.
Watch last second.
That should be 3. Well, they're going to say it was a pass, huh?
And they're going to say a 1-1.
They are going to say it's a pass.
So it's
and
a
it
pass.
Probably was, Jim. You know, I mean, once he realized he's going to be fouled, he probably should have thrown it up a little harder, but it was a pass. Nice call.
Pope makes another appearance. Vic Rogers, it can both.
There's a guy came into the season shooting 51% career from the foul line. He's now the leading free throw shooter in the Metro Conference. Really must have worked on it in the offseason.
Leads the nation in steals.
Boy, Pope and Walker banging down inside.
There he is. Rogers got a hand on it. Great anticipation. Timeout on the floor. Kentucky has had 7 shots blocked, and Louisville leads as a result by 6.
As anybody in the country. You start talking about great players, I realize Felipe is a great player and is a freshman doing extremely well. We saw Allen Iverson a lot in his first game, a lot to expect from freshmen. But when you want to tune in to see a player next week, don't forget about Ray Allen. I think he's one of the best in the country. Explosive scorer for Connecticut.
Here it's 28-22 Louisville.
Shepard's the guy trying to put up a lot of shots here.
Pope tips it in.
I think if I were Kentucky, I'd start getting the ball down inside some. Force.
And Rogers missing the lay-in. And Walker defending. Dealt 3.
Off and running again.
They got Rogers ahead. They'll lob it this time.
No, not a good play.
Weiss, Osborne.
Louisville does not want to get in this kind of a game.
High off the glass and tipped up and in.
You almost think, and I know it wasn't by design, that Kentucky let them do that a couple of times to get them running.
Dick Rogers, three-pointer.
Jim, exactly the wrong thing to do if you're Louisville. They don't have the energy nor the depth to go ahead and play that style of game.
Eric Johnson, there he is. He's back.
Denny Crum telling Dick Rogers exactly that as he sits him down.
Alvin Sims also back into the Louisville lineup. That last tip in for Kentucky by Pope. He scored 2 straight baskets. Kentucky down only by 2. Delp for the lead.
Pope on a push-off. Good strong rebound.
Delp. Puts it back among the Giants.
That's the answer for Kentucky. Pound the ball inside. That particular case, it was a guard.
Tied at 28 and a foul called against Antoine Walker.
He tried to stop Wheat from breaking long. Nice piece of officiating. Caught him in the act.
Louisville back to the line and still in the 1-and-1.
You know, sometimes you set a style of play, and if you're Kentucky, you like that frenetic style, you know, the full court type game. They also in a position they can use so many fouls with their big people inside, and Louisville can't, so it's wise to go ahead and pound that ball inside. Make Samaki Walker guard either Pope or McCarty the whole game, get him in foul trouble, wear him down, and then you go ahead and take him in the last 10-12 minutes of a game.
Louisville's leading scorer on the season makes the most. Wheat takes the pocket of Shepard and draws the foul as he did a great job of using the body.
Well, what he did, Jim, is something that is very smart. He knows that Shepard is a great leaper. So he got him on his hips and stopped. And that took away the leaping ability of Shepard. You can see how graceful, though, Shepard is with that tremendous leaping ability. He almost got a piece of it anyway.
2 shots for DeJuan Wheat, only a sophomore from right here in Louisville.
Both of these teams extremely young, and if you're looking for a chink in the armor of Kentucky at all, to me it's the fact that at the point guard spot, they don't have somebody that really understands the game and how to get everybody else into it. In the case of Shepard, he almost reminds you a little bit of Rex Chapman with his explosive nature. But as far as getting the big people in the game, he hasn't been able to do that yet. Back screen by Walker. Committed a foul, got by.
Hope driving. Rebound out to Sims.
Nice dribbling by Sims.
Osborne cross court to Wheat and a pick set.
It was Johnson who ran right through Pope on that cross court pass, and Wheat was really upset because he had a wide open 3. He's shooting 56% from 3 and really wanted to get a chance to get that one off that had been uncontested, which you don't get many against Kentucky.
5:28 to go in the first half. 31-28 Louisville. Kentucky's only loss this year was a 1-point setback to UCLA. Came down in the last second. Steal by Louisville, and Johnson can't quite save it.
Well, Pope has the right idea as to where to put that ball, but he telegraphed the pass. Much too much distance between he and the recipient made it easy for Louisville to fight over the top and knock it away.
Delp.
Inside again.
Delp with 9. He had 19 last year over at Rupp Arena against Louisville. Sims in the lane. Missed the short one. Osborne. He'll head to the line for a couple.
That was a terrific play by Sims to break on. I realize he didn't finish off the shot, but terrific dribbling on his part.
Philly College football tomorrow on CBS. The CarQuest Bowl live from Miami, West Virginia. They had a late season surge, did the Mountaineers, and they'll battle against South Carolina, the Gamecocks, in their gun-slinging attack. Plus, at halftime tomorrow, the ultimate college football quiz, designed to stump even the most knowledgeable fan. That's tomorrow here on CBS. I hope it's as good as the Sun Bowl. I just flew in here from El Paso, where Texas was victorious, 35-31 against North Carolina.
You and Doug Flutie, the Miracle Man.
He did a nice job. His broadcasting debut, he was terrific.
I think he has a few more years. He wants to continue playing, right?
He's tearing them up in Canada. He's part owner of the Calgary Stampeders. Career in broadcasting waiting, though, and his career playing-wise is over. Here's the Pope, three-pointer, short.
Again, inside the answer for Kentucky. Louisville just has no answers there.
Walker, Antoine Walker.
Now, whether it be by pass or a missed shot, Flynn steps out of bounds. Denny Crum in real trouble here. He took Wheat out of the game, even though the score is tied. He's got 4:24 to go. Trying to rest Wheat, but I don't know if the team can play without him.
Kentucky with possession, looking for the lead. Kentucky's played here once this season. Billy alluded to it earlier. Against Indiana, they won 73-70. They like playing here at Freedom Hall.
Well, we've seen some great games on their part here. Remember the old days when they used to come in and practice the day before the game, draw about 8 or 10. This would be a technical foul if it's a pull of the jersey. There it is. That's an intentional foul, automatic. Should have been 2 shots and the ball.
Eric Johnson whistled for his second. And that now puts Kentucky into a 1-1. 17 fouls against Louisville. They'll get the line. Billy, you mentioned earlier, only 4 out of 9 from the free throw line is Tony Delk, 44%.
And Jim, that's more a reflection of Delk joining into the Kentucky style as to whether or not he has the ability to penetrate inside. Believe me, he does, and certainly with his leaping ability, he can finish.
Antoine Walker lost control of it. Sims on the go, finds Flynn driving to the bucket.
Good hard-nosed play by Flynn.
Flynn in only his 3rd game in a Louisville uniform, a transfer from Duquesne.
He is now 5 out of 7 on the year.
Walker.
Boy, that Pope is strong.
Saves it, sets up a 3. And with Samaki Walker skying for the rebound, he is fouled from behind.
I'm really surprised that Kentucky hasn't decided to work a little bit to get the ball down inside with their offensive passing. They're just so dominant on the boards in this game, and they've got so many weapons at the power forward type position, not taking advantage of it so far today. Denny Crum shown there, as you mentioned. Jim went into the Hall of Fame last year. I mean, it was some sight to see Coach John Wooden leading him down the walkway. Really a great part of basketball with those two together.
Antoine Walker picks up his 2nd foul, and Samaki will shoot one more. Crum, with all of his marks, 500 plus, 552 victories, in the Hall of Fame. One of 3 active coaches, with Dean Smith and Bobby Knight, the other 2, in the Hall of Fame.
People probably wonder, you can be an active coach if you've coached 20 years or more and get into the Hall of Fame. You don't have to wait till you're retired.
Walker has it stripped away, and last touch by Antoine Walker.
How about that play by Flynn? He made the steal, realized it hit Walker's body, and got out of the way.
Well, Kentucky's pulled even with him a couple of times, but Louisville now leads it by 3. We'll look forward to that, and tomorrow also your ultimate football quiz, college football quiz. Mark Pope coming in off the bench for Kentucky, had to sit out last year. This true freshman from Louisville.
Well,
Samaki Walker.
Al McGuire named Denny Crum Cool Hand Luke, and I think he's playing it real cool right now, putting Wheat on the game for the last 3:25 of this half. Really a big gamble. Kentucky's gotten close. They can't put it over the top.
Sims over to Rogers. Foul. Yep, you can hear the slap over here. Foul against Edwards, Allen Edwards, the freshman whose brother Douglas plays in the NBA, team out of Florida State. His brother Steve playing for Coach Hamilton down at Miami for the Hurricanes.
Jim O'Brien sitting next to Rick Pitino. Outstanding coach. Worked for Rick in the NBA when he was with the Knicks. Then went to the University of Dayton, where you remember that team he took to the NCAA tournament. Now back with his former mentor. Married to Jack Ramsey's daughter. So you start talking about having some people that he can get some knowledge from.
Talk about a Hall of Famer.
The great Jack Ramsey, yeah. Nobody looking inside. There it is.
Pope. Rogers reached in as he went up with it, knocked it out of bounds. Rogers with a quick hand.
But that puts so much pressure on the defense to go down inside to McCarty and Pope. Kentucky playing with 3 guards of their own.
Shepard with the sweet swish. Kentucky now down by 3. 37-34 Louisville. 2:40 to go in the half.
Nice dribbling by Rogers.
Oh, a little bit of a soft pass. Back to Osborne. And they say against Osborne.
You know, Jim, Osborne just cannot seem to get it going as a ball player. You know, he had the bad game up at Dayton. Today he has just not relaxed and just let himself play the game. He's got skills. Terrific passer. So far this year, he's only averaging 11 a game. Better player than what we're seeing. There's a switch inside.
Samaki Walker makes the steal this time. Bounce pass to Osborne.
Beautiful dribbling again by Sims. Weaving his way through. Sims about 210, 15 pounds. He puts that ball low on the floor, trying to get it away from him.
Outside, they say there was a foul called against Sims. And it's going to be a 1-and-1 situation.
And here it is. Sims with a beautiful bounce pass. Well caught by Osborne. He takes it right to the hole and finishes it off. The young man has talent.
Shepard will shoot one more. They're talking to Rick Pitino this morning at their shoot-around and how last year as a freshman, Shepard was really tight on the floor, would hyperventilate after the second or third trip down court, would have to come right back out.
Mr. Basketball of Georgia seems to be primarily as a scorer. Talked about the 21 he had the other day, but he had 14 against UCLA in a very tough battle. So he has the ability to explode from a scoring standpoint.
And as the coach said, he's grown up a lot.
There's that dribbling again by Sims.
Behind the back wide.
That's not a good idea. That's by a walk-on.
And Edwards with a 3.
And redeems himself by getting a good defensive rebound. Lynn has played very well coming in off that bench as a walk-on player.
Osborne 3. Try to chase down his own miss. Pope from outside, 3-pointer.
You know,
Osborne, they're off to the races again here, Billy.
Jim, you really have to say why. I realize it's Kentucky's game to shoot a lot of threes. They're not taking advantage of their skill today.
Flynn is twice, and it bounced off his foot. Out of bounds. Kentucky ball. Coming up, Pennzoil at the half with Andrea Joyce. That look at Felipe Lopez and some New Year's resolutions. I know you've made one. You told me last night, no more dessert for 1995.
Right. I'm off to a great start.
Yeah, well, you finished off 94 with a gallon of ice cream.
No, I haven't had any today.
Last minute of the first half. Shepard dishing. Pope can tie it with his shot.
Don't understand it, Jim. I really don't understand it. Nothing worse you can do in basketball than having the wrong guy take the wrong shot at the wrong time. And to me, that's been the story of Kentucky in the first half.
You know, you talked about Kentucky firing the three so successfully against Louisville the last 4 years. Today, they're 2 out of 10.
That's the difference. And Denny Crum came back for the last 40 seconds with Wheat. So he really has on the floor, and this is the first time, I think, since about the 8-minute mark, 8 minutes gone the first half, where he has got his starters back in there. He's coming back with Sims for someone right now.
Rogers.
D for Rogers.
And you said earlier, he leads Metro in free throw shooting. There was a foul called after the miss at the other end against Tony Delp. And now Sims back. Osborne to the bench. Last 39 seconds of the first half. And right on average, 5 out of 6 now for Tip Rogers. Louisville leads by 4.
Wheat doing a good job sitting down on Shepard. Delp, jumper.
And Louisville will have a chance at the last shot. But Sims pulls it out.
Boy, I really like that. Was a smart play by Sims. You see him look up at the clock on the way down the floor. Very smart play on his part.
Wheat, double team, snaps it all the way cross court. Rogers, Sims, tip. High up, but the buzzer sounded. We go to the intermission with Louisville leading. Louisville 40, Kentucky 36. Andrea Joyce will be along from Miami with Pennzoil at the half after this message and a word from your local station. By 10, 40-36, the Cardinals over the number 5 team in the country, Kentucky. And Billy, sum it up so far.
Well, I think it's been a matter of Kentucky not getting the ball down inside. They're only 2 for 10 from three-point shooting, Jim, which is something that obviously they like to put up threes. But I don't think it's been good shot judgment on their part today. They have far superior team in regard to size coming off the bench. They're not taking advantage of it.
Well, let's take a look at some of the first half numbers, including the three-point percentage. First, we'll show overall Kentucky 33% from the field. Three-point field goals, 2 of 10 for Kentucky. Louisville's made 2 out of 5.
To give Louisville a lot of credit in regard to that shooting percentage that Kentucky is not having. Louisville has great quickness, a lot of determination on the part of this ball club this year. Of course, shot blocking maybe is the thing that changed. There's that lob pass that we talked about with the back screen earlier in the game, but it wasn't there. Osborne still threw the pass.
Samaki Walker, the leading scorer in the first half for Louisville, had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 9 by Tony Delp, topping Kentucky.
Kentucky also with 12 turnovers, and Roderick Rhodes, who has the ball right now, Jim, did not score. They tried to post him up early in this ball game. He wasn't effective. There they're going down inside early.
Delp 3.
See, when you go inside, it opens up that three-point shot so much. Nice pressure. Look at this young man dribble that ball. Isn't it amazing?
True freshman from Chicago, or Columbus, Ohio.
Well, we've got the other Walker from Chicago, so we...
But this Walker, he could have a triple-double, Billy, as he can duplicate that first half.
Yep. With shot blocks being one of.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yep. 6 already. Under 10 on the shot clock here. Wheat to Johnson. Here's Walker. Tip Rogers underneath fouling. Long rebound to Johnson. Up with it. Blocked by Riddick. And Johnson reached in to commit his third.
There's Johnson at 6'3", just not quite big enough, despite his leaping ability, to get that ball over Riddick's hand.
Some feel at Louisville he's the best leaper they've had since Darrell Griffith.
That's taken in a few.
And starting at forward at 6'3", Eric Johnson. But now with 3 fouls, Kentucky looking for its first lead of this game.
Good penetration and dish out.
Rhodes gave it up. Not Louisville.
Not having a good game.
You said no points. Also, no rebounds credited to Rhodes.
Pretty fun catch.
Wheat. No one underneath for Louisville except Dick Rogers.
Another steal for Rogers. You pointed out, leads the nation. You can see why. Quick hands, quick feet.
Now against Delt. Delt second. Well, Rogers kept it alive for Louisville. And that was his second steal of the game.
I think that's kind of unfair, Jim. I think he had a couple others in that first half that he didn't get credited for.
Oh, tough pass there. Cut off by Delt.
Osborne's got to be thinking better than that.
That's the first steal of the game for Kentucky as a team. Rhodes, three, on the board. And Kentucky has its first lead.
And Jim, you talk about their first steal. They've been forcing 20 or more turnovers a game for the last 4 games. Forced Indiana to turn it over 24 times. And against UT Martin, they forced 41 turnovers.
Rogers throws it away. Brian Kaiser comes in for Jason Osborne.
He's going out, and Denny Crum's going to give him an earful right now. Jason has got to get his game together if Louisville's going to win this one. Kentucky much more patient in this half, looking inside, running their half-court offense.
Third. Underneath though, Riddick.
Great block.
Riddick again. And they call a foul on Rogers.
And Samaki Walker got another block. That gives him 7.
Got a good chance of breaking that Louisville record.
You know, and Jim, you talked about a triple-double. You see guys normally with that, the shot block are not one of the categories. You get scoring, rebounds, assists. But that would be an unusual combination. 10 blocks, 10 or more points, 10 or more rebounds.
Walter McCarty in the act of shooting, so we'll fire up a couple. Kentucky has scored the first 7 points of this half.
Kind of a run like last year. Remember, Louisville would hang in there, and then Kentucky got the run, but that was in the first half last year.
The prevailing feeling here at halftime, talking to several folks, just waiting for that Kentucky run.
Well, I think what Rick Pitino did very wisely at halftime is say, let's get back to a half-court set, not take so many quick shots.
Johnson opens baseliner, first point of the half for Louisville after 8 in a row by Kentucky.
Good way to attack that press down the sideline. Rhodes has got a lot of size on Wheat.
Shepard three. Short again. And a man broke early. Johnson. Shepard giving chase. Johnson goes up with the left hand. No call as he was knocked to the ground.
Well, I really like Johnson's attitude. In practice and in the game. He never says anything. Really concentrates. Young man that just wants to help the ball club.
Game is tied now, 44 all. And Wheat almost stole it.
Well, Wheat is getting caught on switches, and he ends up with Rhodes all the time, and Rhodes is too big for him. Wheat got hurt in the elbow there. He doesn't want to come out of the game, but he's in a lot of pain. Denny Crum noticed it.
Wheat will go out, and DJ Flynn comes back.
Jim, look how he's holding his arm there. He got hit either in the elbow or right in the forearm, and it just kind of like paralyzed him for a second. That was just caught one of those elbows.
Yeah, funny bone.
Yeah. Well, I like what Kentucky's doing this half. They're using their size, going down inside, being much more patient.
Delt. Pope crashing the boards. And a foul called against Kentucky.
Flynn felt the power of Rhodes and just went to the ground.
His third, Rhodes' third. DJ Flynn, a little out of control in the first half, really. He turned it over 4 times.
He really did. Tried to go inside some, too, with
it out. Kaiser, he can make the three.
Inside out. Louisville showing Kentucky how to do it.
7 unanswered now for Louisville. McCarty tries to answer and does.
You see Samaki Walker saying, somebody pick him up.
47 all.
Then going to take it all the way.
And a block against Pope.
Well, he plays with the same intensity of his father. His dad was about 6'5", a little bigger. That particular year, as we mentioned, Kentucky knocked off Indiana in that huge upset, then went to the Final Four and beat Syracuse, and then played UCLA in what was John Wooden's last game.
1975 national championship.
Yep. Everybody thought that was the game that Coach Wooden resigned after beating Louisville in the semis. People thought that Denny Crum would jump right on a plane and head back to UCLA, but it was not to be his job. It changed history a little bit because from 75 on, Denny Crum did fairly well here at Louisville.
A total of 6 Final Fours. Louisville back in front by a bucket. The week, Billy, I'll cast the old CBS vote tonight for the AP poll. Where do you think I should put UConn?
I think UConn's on the move, and North Carolina there, although still undefeated, lost Dante Calabria rather, and with an ankle injury, and that makes them even thinner as a ball club. Only 6 scholarship players on the #1 team in the United States up to this point.
We'll be there for UConn St. John's next Sunday from Hartford, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Kentucky trailing by 2. They've made 3 shots in the second half, all from 3-point range.
Really getting into their half-court set now and trying to go inside. Kaiser, no matchup for Pope. Giving up about 4 or 5 inches.
Kaiser called for his second.
So down on one end of the floor, you have Kaiser with his good outside shooting ability having an advantage, but on this end of the floor, just giving up too much size. Back screens by Pope.
Over to Delk. There's 2 players. Kentucky crashing the boards again. Delk right back up with it, and Kentucky ties it.
Isn't it interesting today, Jim? Delk has scored all of his points, what seemed like right down in the lane.
Expect Delk to be scoring all of his points from the perimeter. Just got it across with a second to spare.
Good push by Epps on Flynn. I'll tell you, Flynn not afraid to take that ball down inside.
Freedom Hall, the site of 6 Final Fours. And site today of one of the most intense rivalries in college basketball, Kentucky and Louisville. Been quite an intense battle so far. Kaiser, strong. Misses the layup, but chases it down.
I think he anticipated somebody to block his shot. He is aggressive.
Kentucky now to take the lead with this possession. With a bucket. Reach around foul on Johnson.
Again, giving up about 6 inches is Johnson, and it's so tough down in that low post. Now that Kentucky's going to it. Changing the whole complexion of this game.
Shepard comes back in for Epps. And Alvin Sims runs onto the floor for Eric Johnson, who goes to the bench with 4 fouls. 49-49, Jim Nance and Billy Packer from Freedom Hall.
Jim, going to that foul line, which is what Kentucky's going to be doing soon, because they go and pound that ball inside. They are a 74% free throw shooting team. There they go again.
Rickett, Kaiser hit him from behind to pick up his 3rd.
Now an answer for Louisville here, now that they see what Kentucky's doing in the change of philosophy, would be to go to some kind of zone, you know, to try to pack things in and save some of the people from getting in further foul trouble. But obviously then it opens up the opportunity Kentucky goes back to that 3-point shot. So tough little chess match right here now for Denny Crum.
Jason Osborne will return, and so will Zach Smith for Louisville.
So he counters that idea by going back with Smith to give him some size. I think what Denny Crum's trying to do here is to keep this game close as long as he can and go down to that last 6 minutes or so where he can get back with a fresh starting lineup.
That was Prickett at the line, and he hits them both. And Kentucky leads by 2. Dealt with a near steal.
Wheat out nursing that injury to his arm. This is really hurting Louisville. Looks like he's okay over there, but he's really having to sit down a number of minutes.
Big pressure here on Sims. And Kentucky forces the turnover.
Here comes Wheat back in the game in a hurry. There's so much difference when he's out of the ball game. I mean, he has so much leadership ability.
Shepard says, why not? You let me up. It'll cost you 3. Kentucky with its largest lead, a 5-point Kentucky lead.
Boy, I really like that double team press.
Walker bumped him with the body.
Now you look at, they can press out there with Pope, who's very active, Prickett, who's active, Walker, who's active, McCarty, who's active. Those are all guys 6'8" and above that can come down and double team. Makes it tough to get the ball out of it.
So Wheat replaces Flynn. Antoine Walker collected his 3rd personal.
Here's a half-court trap. Kentucky showed a little bit of it in the first half.
Shepard with contact.
Really like what Rick Pitino has done here in the second half, Jim. He's gone to more of a controlled half-court offense when he has the ball, but a full-court, much more intense pressure defense when he's on the defensive end of the floor.
I like the way Rick Pitino runs a practice.
Oh, yeah.
Now Louisville must be careful of one of those explosive Kentucky bursts.
This may be a critical possession right here.
Osborne with a 2 just inside the line.
Couldn't ask for more. One of those worst shot in basketball, right? Or about 6 inches over the line.
And a steal by Louisville.
Shepard didn't use good judgment there.
Smith had it stripped. Right back, Louisville returns the favor. Sims.
Boy, I love his judgments today. Played a smart game.
That 2-pointer slices the lead to 1. Kentucky 54, Louisville 53. Walker tried to give it up to Prickett. Ball 3.
You can see Walker is quite a passer. He just has to learn how to get his game under control.
Foul called against Smith. 12:38 remaining in this game.
You look over at that Kentucky bench, Winston Bennett, who joined that coaching staff, Delray Brooks, Tim O'Brien, who we mentioned. Delray, of course, played for Rick at Providence. Winston Bennett, an outstanding player, a young man from Louisville here who opts to go to the University of Kentucky.
This guy right here, Prickett, scored 22 in the NCAA tournament 2 seasons ago against Florida State as a freshman, and that still is his career high.
You know, it's interesting, too. Roderick Rhodes' career high was
second game of his career. Against Georgia Tech.
Right.
Took place at the Garden.
Yep. He was the MVP that year of the Holiday Festival. Shut down Mashburn that game, but the rookie who came back to the New York area had the great game, and it's still his biggest game.
Wheat. Another 2 just inside the line.
Well, he didn't have much choice there because he had to accept the pass at that spot.
Ties the game at 55.
Still inside.
Blocked by Smith. And going up with it, they say Smith got a piece of the arm this time.
But Bozak Smith giving some valuable minutes inside. And some size. Nice job by Pope getting his own very intense young man, puts it back up.
So Bozak Smith picks up the foul, his second, and 2-shot situation for Pope.
Led his club in rebounding both years at the University of Washington before he transferred. The change of coaching status there with Nance being moved out. Send him a packing.
Kentucky regains the lead by 1. Osborne needing help, finds Rogers.
You know that double team is coming. As soon as you catch it, you got to be looking for somebody to get it to.
Sims.
Again, good judgment, huh?
Wheat, 3. Yep.
Great shot because Jones was running right in his face.
13 for Wheat. Louisville leads by 2. Epps wanted the foul.
He should have got it.
And off of Pope, Louisville basketball.
Epps deserves the better call on that play. He stuck underneath and didn't get the call.
Louisville has come back from 5 down in this half to lead 58-56. Regain the lead here by 2. Kentucky ranked 5th in the country, but trailing in this one.
You know, Jim, yesterday when we were talking to Denny Crum, and isn't this interesting? He talks about, and we're finding this more and more in athletics, not only in the collegiate level, but professional. He said, these are really a neat bunch of kids to coach. And don't you feel that about this particular Louisville team? This is not the most talented Louisville team that we've broadcast by quite a stretch. But they just hang in there, you know. Now, whether they win or lose this season is kind of somewhat immaterial there, but you can see a lot of character on this ball club.
Well, last year's team had 3 NBA draft picks, right, including 2 first-rounders.
All of which are playing well right now. Minor, Morton, and Rozier. Rozier in the starting lineup.
Pitino said to us, this is a Louisville team that'll come after you, too, and we'll go after everything, every loose ball. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Already, the ball's in the hands of the right guy.
Wheat, he's hot.
Yeah, the ball in the hands of the right guy. Now, McCarty should have forced him to drive because he had so much size on him. That's the difference of having a point guard that knows what he's doing out there.
12 to run. Dell stripped away, and man ahead is Sims.
But he's got Shepard, the shot blocker. Unbelievable play, Jim.
Alvin Sims gives Louisville a 7-point lead, and Kentucky wants to talk it over. Timeout, Wildcats.
With his dribbling, good shot selection, and in that particular case, he took it right over the top of Shepard.
And Louisville with quite a flurry of their own, 14-2.
Well, we expected a run, but we expected the other team to do the running.
Really.
Again, to point out, both of these teams playing primarily without any seniors. 2 extremely young clubs.
Three-pointer off the mark, but Smith. Bozak Smith called for the foul.
Wow, that's a huge call. He had 2 hands on the ball. That push had to come very early in this sequence.
Watch 33.
All right, there's the push. But the call doesn't come till much later. And without question, he did push. But the call came from way in the back court.
1-1 for Antoine Walker.
Well, he's got a good-looking stroke. Denny Crum getting some good minutes out of Smith. Resting Samaki Walker, and he's just trying to get this game down to that 5-minute mark.
Long pass, Rogers.
Going over the top of the press.
Louisville has made its last 7 shots, and most of them have been from long range, although the last 2 have been layups.
They're going right over the top of the press. Shepard's going to have to be careful out there with that crossover.
Dealt free.
Beautiful follow through.
Under 10 minutes remaining in this game. 65-61. Louisville.
Big guys with the ball handlers. Hardy, both Walkers, Jason Osborne, all have shown they can put the ball on the floor in the backcourt area.
Smith, pump fake.
There was a case where they tried to double team, and DeJuan Wheat picked it up perfectly. Almost a little delayed pick and roll there. Walker's open.
Dealt again. Oh, wow. 2-pointer.
Really a streak score. Has not scored over 15 points in any game yet this year. It's very unusual.
Riddick comes away with it.
And here's where Louisville has to be careful of not getting tired, making some tired mistakes.
Shepard will go to the line. By the way, Delp now has 19 in this game. Sims called for that foul.
So that's his high on the year. But as you know, he can be an explosive scorer. Took preseason all SEC, first team. Last year made the second team.
Smith goes out, replaced by Kaiser. And Rhodes and Prickett are back for Kentucky.
You can see how tired, though, the Louisville club is. Almost every guy bending over, holding their pants legs. Even DeJuan Wheat, who has had an opportunity to get a couple of blows today.
Shepard will shoot one more. And why don't you tell us what you think the difference is with this kid in his second year?
Well, I think he's got more confidence. I think that obviously he's matured as a basketball player. I still think that he primarily is a number 2 guard as opposed to a point guard, and that will have to be another part of his game that he develops. And that is understanding how to get other people involved.
Louisville's 7-point lead down to 2.
Diagonal passing against the full court pressure. Samaki Walker might put it on the floor. Good backdoors. You notice how Wheat makes himself available so that there can be a good pass.
Got a challenge the shot clock now.
Left hand.
DeJuan Wheat has 18. Rejected and saved for Kentucky. Here's Rhodes.
Rhodes just can't get untracked.
Delp, he's hot. Sims.
Oh, what dribbling!
Right by 2 Kentucky players. Walker.
Again, beautiful play by Sims. He's just putting the ball on the floor so well and uses that body strength of his to go by people.
Rhodes, way off.
But Sims is tired right now. He's just pushing himself. Really a gutty performance.
6-point lead and the ball with 7 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
Little scissors off the top. You can see Samaki Walker put the ball on the floor, go by Riddick.
Five on the shot clock. Sims, he'll have to fire it. Walker tried to slam home the rebound. Kaiser.
He's their man.
Dipped down and out.
They can't fault him on that, though. They got the ball to the right guy. Sims asking to come out for a break. He's tired, and there he is. He's going to drag himself off this floor. Boy, he has played hard.
Sims had to lose 21 pounds from mid-September. A month later, before the start of basketball practice, Crum gave an ultimatum, and with the help of strength and conditioning coach Wiley Brown, Sims hit it right on the number. Lost the 21 pounds.
Wiley, of course, sitting right behind Denny Crum. He's now the strength coach at Louisville as part of that national championship team in '81.
10 team fouls on 1980. Yeah.
80, yeah.
10 team fouls, so double bonus. Shepard shoots one more. Anthony Epps comes back in for Shepard.
And Denny Crum, again, wisely, with all those years of experience, is trying to keep Wheat rested so that he can go down that last 3 or 4 minutes. He knows he's taking a gamble here, but he knows he doesn't want to have him exhausted for the end. As long as he's got this lead, he can put him on the bench for a minute or two.
Flynn to Osborne.
Ball fake and no place to go for Osborne. Got buried in the crowd.
6 minutes remaining. Number 5, Kentucky down by 5.
Good overplay by Rogers. He's
Dell. Pope comes flying through. Kicks it out. Dell with the left hand.
Well, he has been primarily a perimeter shooter, but today he has taken the ball inside and scored repeatedly.
Flynn in big trouble. Osborne, they've got 3 seconds to get it across and make it easily. You said Delk hasn't scored a lot this season, but he's just a scorer, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at him, he knows how to score.
Right. I wouldn't consider him a pure shooter as much as he is a top scorer. And a pretty good rebounder for a guard, too.
And I didn't mean just a score, as though that's the only thing he can do. Underneath, swatted away by Walker. And a foul call.
It's going to be on Roderick Rhodes, reaching in on Jason Osborne. Rhodes has really been tied up today. Give Tick Rogers a lot of credit for that. He has played him head-to-head and just taken his game away from him.
That's 4 on Rhodes. DeJuan Wheat comes back in for Louisville, and Shepard returns for Kentucky. And tomorrow we're back in the bowl action with the CarQuest Bowl, live from Miami, from Joe Robbie Stadium. West Virginia against South Carolina. West Virginia won 6 of its last 7 games to make it to the bowl season. And at halftime, the ultimate college football quiz. That's tomorrow here on CBS. Fern Lundquist, Dan Fouts, Andrea Joyce coming your way.
I think the ultimate quiz is going to be what happens between Penn State and Nebraska. How about that, Jim? What do you think will happen if both of them win?
Part 1 of the puzzle tonight.
Yep.
What happens if they both win?
Yep.
You can't tell a kid on either team that they did not win the national championship.
It'd be a tough break for either one that doesn't make it. And all the more reason to have the playoff. I saw that Garth Brooks even got in the act. He demanded a playoff. Said he'd come and sing for free.
Put the cup in. Well, Brooks has the money. He ought to sponsor the game.
Well, there have been a number of people that have offered that. Well, here goes Flynn. He's got him.
And he scored. 75-70 Louisville. 4:30 remaining.
Been attacking the press all day long. See if Roderick Rhodes tries to go ahead and do too much himself.
And a reach in by Osborne outside. And again, they're in the 2-shot situation, so 2 for Rhodes.
Now, what Osborne has got to understand is Roderick Rhodes has had an off game. When you got a player that you know is aggressive that's had an off game, just try to contain. Don't try to steal it. Let him make the mistake, because he'll be so aggressive, they'll have a tendency to do that.
And Rhodes, only 1 out of 7 from the field. Hits the first. Delk, after a quick breather, comes back.
Well, Denny Crum wants 2 more minutes. Keep this game tight, and then put the ball in DeJuan Wheat's hands.
3-point game with 4:22 to go in this game.
Nice to have a big, tall guy like Osborne to throw that ball in bounds. He can see over the defense.
Got it across with a second to spare.
He got fouled. Jim, what do you think his father, who is part of a great Kentucky ball club, is thinking right now? You know, his alma mater being torn up by a son that walked on it You better believe it. Tremendous gutty play on his part all day. Even in the first half with the 4 turnovers, it wasn't from a lack of trying.
3-point play gives Kentucky or Louisville the 6-point lead. 6-point deficit for Kentucky. Tucker can cut it in half.
Oh, big shot. His lift is so good that outside, he can just go up in the air and get the strength with his jumping ability. He's got to get that ball back to Wheat somehow. Here he is.
Lynn. Walker.
He can put it up there. He's a great young player.
Samaki Walker with 13 points.
Well, I read in the Louisville paper today where this is no longer a rivalry, Jim.
That was an astute observation, wasn't it?
There it again. Just be patient. He'll make the bad play.
That was a wild shot.
Right, he's frustrated right now.
3 minutes remaining.
Don't foul a frustrated player. Let him make his own mistakes. Pennycrum wants the time.
Louisville has won 5 straight. And they lead number 5 by 5.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good.
Who are you calling guys? Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Yes, I am.
When you were 21, we drank a toast to it.
Yeah.
We did do that. When you were 30, I can't read this. You could boast of it. Now you're 40. Look at that. See? So make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that clever?
Gillette introduces the next revolution in shaving closeness. Microfins. And they're only on the new Sensor XL. These microfins precede the blades. As Sensor XL's spring-mounted blades adjust to your face, these soft, flexible fins gently stretch your skin, so your beard stands up for the closest, most comfortable shave. Get closer than ever before. Get the new Gillette Sensor XL.
Look, a MasterCard won't make you different or unique, okay? Actually, maybe it will. I mean, millions of people use MasterCard, but yours is meant for you and you alone. So if someone steals it, instead of worrying about people running around pretending to be you, call right away and cancel it, because after all, there's only one you. What's more, even if somebody does manage to charge stuff to you, you won't pay a cent, and we may even be able to get you a new card the next day. But just for you. Now, how's that for a useful card? MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money.
I'm Bill Agatuda. Accused abortion clinic killer John Salvi awaits a court appearance, and heavy fighting rocks the capital of breakaway Chechnya. On tonight's CBS Evening News.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer will be with you next week. St. John's and UConn will be there in black tie, Billy, for that game?
No, I don't believe so. I believe these are going right to the Heat.
What about that game next week?
It's interesting, we get into some conference play now. This has been kind of like all for fun. The first stage of a college basketball season are these November, December periods right now. Games like this one we're seeing out here, but starting next week, conference battles coming up. Some conferences have played extremely well. One that's been down, Jim, has been the Big Ten. They're having all kinds of problems in their sectional play.
Wisconsin lost last night to Marquette, the team that eliminated Kentucky in the tournament last year.
That will not be backcourt.
Yep, touched by Shepard.
Yep.
He's got to beat the shot clock, though. That was launched with 1 second on the shot clock. In fact, Jim Burr said this did not.
Right, the horn did not sound, so the official ran in there to make sure that the clock was reset.
2:25 remaining.
Osborne and Rhodes. Trying to get Delk and Rhodes involved in touching this ball. There he is.
Rhodes gives it up. Shepard, 3. Pope. Up and in, and 1.
Fouled by Walker. That's good ball movement that time, and Rhodes made a good judgment to give that ball up instead of taking the bad shot. Ended up getting a wide open shot for a teammate, and there's Pope with that good, solid rebounding of his, two-handed rebounding. Be a real factor for this club.
9 rebounds, and Pope with a 3-point opportunity. Look, just a point and a rebound away from a double-double. And more importantly, could have cut it to 2.
Didn't look good on that shot for a man that led the Pac-10 in free throw shooting. Good rebound by Samaki Walker.
2 minutes.
Now this is where Denny Crum wanted to be, because no longer is the bench a factor. Doesn't have anybody in foul trouble. I think Sims and Brown might be coming back in here. Goes to the 1-4 offense.
Wheat up top. A 2-pointer.
Beautiful shot. Well, there are a lot of guys came into the Metro last year more heralded. And there's that frustrated player again trying to do too much.
Kaiser out to Osborne. Louisville in no hurry. Louisville has lost 4 straight years to Kentucky. Denny Crum's never lost 5 straight times to the same opponent. And a foul called against Kentucky.
Boy, and there's a wide open shot that time. It's probably going to be called on Shepard.
It may have been on Rhodes. It's on Rhodes, and that's his 5th.
And it puts Flynn, an excellent free throw shooter, on the line. Jim, so far this year, a young guy who walked on, came into this game, already going to the line 15 times. He made 13 of them.
So Rhodes with one of his poorer performances. Likeable young man from Jersey City, out of the game with 5 points. That's 9 team fouls against Kentucky, so they're still in the 1-1. This point forward, though, after this one, will be the double bonus.
And you know who's going to have the ball the rest of the way? It's going to be Wheat. It's going to be Wheat's hands, right?
1-1, no.
Big miss. I thought they'd bring Sims back in the game.
Shepard rejected by Walker. Delk back up with it. And a whistle.
Is that the 8th block today for Samaki Walker?
Call a block on the first one, and then a foul on Walker's second.
Watch this block. Great timing. Plus, he bats it right back down where there was an opportunity for one of his teammates to pick it up.
Delk at the line will shoot 2. Back in, 2 for Delk with just under a minute to go.
When we talk about record-breaking performances, how about Frankie King that came in here and played against Kentucky at Western Carolina? Against Louisville. 41 points and 15 rebounds against the Louisville club as a 6'1" guard. What a performance.
Big performance. Now, Kentucky to cut it to 3. And he does.
A minute to go, meaning Louisville will definitely have to give up the ball. They step out of bounds on the inbound pass and try to go long.
This could tie it. Long rebound to F. They don't have to have a 3 now. That's blocked by Osborne, out of bounds. Rick Pitino looked over at Shepard and said, look around.
That 1-1 free throw. And Louisville had a chance to get a little bit more of a margin. Here's Osborne coming across. Excellent block. Good timing.
Antoine Walker comes in. He'll inbound it. Shepard. Walker blocks his ninth shot. Shepard puts it back up and in. It's a one-point game. 42 seconds.
And again, Louisville will have to give up the ball.
Louisville by one. Rogers will go to the line for two. Fouled by Shepard.
Now, let's think of something, Jim. Here's a young man, as we said, came into the season shooting 51% from the foul line. This year, he leads the Metro so far in free throw shooting. But he hasn't had a pressure shot like this in his career.
Rogers.
He drills it. And Jim Sims does come back into the ball game now, so Denny Crum has a man who's played a very intelligent game back out there for him, and he's critical. Final 37 seconds.
Rogers with two pressure free throws. Louisville by three.
And he puts Sims on Delp.
Shepard almost had it stolen by Rogers. Blocked for the 10th time by Walker, and he gets the rebound.
And that ties the all-time shot block record for Louisville. Outstanding freshman. 10 blocks. How about the triple-double, Jim? Here he goes. Shepard had it. But look at Walker. Go up the second time. Perfect timing to the block.
And that gave him the triple-double. The true freshman has 10 blocks, 10 rebounds, and 13 points.
Well, you forecasted that early, Jim.
Well, I'd say he had 3 late blocks here in the last minute and a half. But here at the line to shoot 2.
Huge free throws. When you have a triple-double, why not bank one in off the board? And he looks over his coach, I'm sure, and said, hey, I called that one. Just like in a game of pig. Good tap back. Back to Wheat.
And Wheat will shoot 2.
Very smart play by Louisville on the tap back. I was talking about, he was the rookie of the year last year in the Metro. Talking about all the heralded players that came into the league. Nobody was excited when Louisville signed this young man to say he's going to be a real star player, but he's turned out to be all of that.
5-point lead.
Yeah, that was important because now they need the 2 possessions for sure. They got to get a 3 on one of them. They should go for a 2 if it's there.
McCarty 3. Got it. 2-point game. Don't count out Kentucky. 11.6 seconds remaining. 86-84 Louisville.
The all-new Mazda Protege has more room than any car in its class. But what class is it? After all, it has more room inside than a Honda Civic, more room than a Nissan Altima, even more than a 5 Series BMW. So what class would you guess the new Protege is in? Well, here's a hint. The all-new Mazda Protege. There's a surprise in every package.
Hey, America, something's missing from your sandwich. The great taste of cheese. It makes your so-so sandwich sensational. This turkey sandwich is as plain as it can be, but add some zesty cheese. It's such a hit, they'll vote it MVP.
Love it with cheese.
Your roast beef sandwich scores a 0, but add some tangy cheese, you've got a great American hero.
Now this is a winner.
Give your sandwich a new attitude with cheese.
My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Undancer, unprancer. Ah, ha, ha!
Nice steer. What was that?
Santa, it was the program. Domino's new buffalo wings. Now, when you call for your favorite Domino's pizza, you can get a full order of tangy chicken wings for just $3.99. Beats milk and cookies.
Domino's buffalo wings.
Contact wrote a book on cold medicine. That
gives Kentucky life. 86-84, Billy. Strategy here.
Well, first of all, the key to this game, Jim, is Louisville's going to get fouled. They're going to have a two-shot foul. They make both, they win the game. If they make only one, Jim, this is an overtime game. It's 1983 all over again. Kentucky tied up Louisville. Game went into overtime. Louisville beat them. Went on to the NCAA tournament Final Four. Lost to your Houston club
in the semis.
But I just have a feeling if they don't make the free throws, Kentucky puts this game in overtime with a 3.
Osborne runs the baseline.
Gotta let him get fouled.
Wheat fouled by McCarty. They took about almost 3 seconds off the clock. 8.9 remaining.
Here's the ball game. He makes 2, they win.
Well, he made 1 out of 2 on his last visit just seconds ago.
Jim, I remember that game in Knoxville, Tennessee. You talk about the intensity involved. The first time those two had met since, I guess, 1959. It's incredible.
2 shots for Wheat, with Louisville leading by 2.
That looked good.
Walker in for Epps. And now the big one for Wheat. 8.9 seconds remaining.
And Harrison in the game.
His first action.
Yeah, first action of the game to be put out here in the last 9 seconds. Unless Pitino's going to call a time here.
4-point lead.
Oh, you don't want to foul him.
Shepard off balance. Shepard right back up with it quickly. Gets up. But it doesn't matter. Louisville has upset number 5, Kentucky.
Well, I guess the rivalry does exist, Jim.
The genuine Chevrolet players of the game are Tony Delk from Kentucky, a season-high 23, and Samaki Walker from Louisville, who had a triple-double. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Well, Kentucky had won the last 4, but not today. For Billy Packer and Andrea Joyce, I'm Jim Nance saying so long from Freedom Hall, where the final score is Louisville 88, Kentucky 86.